This is Jacqueline with Sound Body Wisdom, and I found this really awesome recording, sort of like kitchen table talk with myself and a dear friend. And I thought there were so many awesome insights and just a great back and forth. And she's someone who's been doing the practice and sort of her reflecting on what that's like for her. I wanted to share it. So, yeah, I hope the sound quality is good enough, but either way, here it is. So basically, just really owning that this practice is about developing your awareness that your entire life can be changed by that activity. And not that it's an easy one, but that it's a primary one. And I feel really committed to that, and what that can mean for people to take responsibility for that. And then the thing that supports that is doing it with care and warmth and kindness towards oneself and a curiosity. And I was looking at the difference between, I was like, okay, unconscious and conscious, what are these? And literally the definition of unconscious is anything that's not in your awareness.
Wow.
And think about it. If you aren't aware of it, it's still going on. It's just going on underneath your radar. So any of these habits or any of these things, whether it's survival like breathing or digesting, right? All of this can go on, as well as all your thoughts or emotional content or triggers. You can decide where the bar is. So you can live a life with the bar just up really high so that there's just this little bit of awareness going on. You can have the most minimal amount of awareness. And there's going to be just like that, I think Freud came up with that iceberg, around the time of Freud, that consciousness is this tip of the iceberg and then the unconscious is this massive thing under the waters, right? You can decide where the water level is, essentially. So you can live with just this little bit of consciousness, awareness above the waterline. Or you can keep lowering that waterline, revealing more and more awareness, developing your awareness, having more consciousness, and less that's below the surface, less that's running below your radar. You can touch those things that are invisible right now, right? So developing your awareness is about going beneath the surface and touching what is currently invisible, and getting to know it, through how it behaves, the symptoms of it, the way it makes you feel. But you bring it into your conscious, you bring it above the waterline. By developing that sense of what's happening, your curiosity, and just bringing it into the conscious mind. And now it's a part of consciousness. You know what I mean? And like I was saying yesterday, the way it works exponentially, I think, is the more you lower that waterline, the more that is above the surface. I think there's sort of like sprouts and tendrils, what are they called?
Tendrils?
Tendrils that can come up that help you see even more that's down below. The more you reveal, the more it shows you what's below, I think. Because it's connected, So I got very excited about that because it feels like it's very simple. There's nothing complex about this. You are infinite in this world of conscious unconscious, right? You can change the ratio. You absolutely can change the ratio. You can have more awareness, which means the more you grow your awareness, the more you're revealing what is currently unconscious. It's really about revealing the unconscious. And by understanding that and seeing that or making it more tangible or visible, you can actually interact with it on a conscious level, make choices. I think that's really empowering. I think that's incredible. And simultaneously, it's fine if you don't want to develop it. You can absolutely get by with at least with just a minimal amount of conscious awareness.
Well, I think that's part of what some people are, wanting to.
Right. So Lark is talking about the things that it involves, like doing this work. That it's taken her maybe like 6 weeks to really start getting the hang of this and seeing the changes. But go ahead.
Like an overall generalized improvement, my outlook and my attitude. But it takes an active integration, I think, or active interaction.
Like consistent interaction,
Yep.
an active one, really involved.
Really involved interaction. And it takes a real commitment, because it's hard ass work. Like, it is uncomfortable and it is hard. And I think that's probably where people get stuck, is in the uncomfortable, hard.
Why is it
place.
uncomfortable? What'd you notice?
It is.
Since you're fresh on the boat.
It is because I feel like I'm going against the grain of
Of
my
your habits, right?
habits and my internal landscape.
But you don't even think of it as habits. It's
No.
In a way, you just think of it as like, this is me. Like, it just feels
Like,
against
yeah.
everything.
Well, like what I said to you yesterday, like, oh, I think I'm prone to melancholy. But what I notice is that that's a comfortable, I'm using air quotes right now, comfortable place to be.
AKA familiar.
So it's like, oh, I'm just going to slide into that. But what the difference is now is that I recognize it, and I think to stop myself and think, is that where I want to go with my thoughts or my feelings or my overall general? If the answer is no, which it was no, then the work is, okay, recognizing it and then working with that. Or, then working with, whether it's my affirmations or,
Your different tools.
My tools, exactly.
Right. So again, it's being committed. It's noticing, bringing your awareness to what's going on, and sort of being like, you're interrupting like just the normal flow of the habit.
Yep.
And then by interrupting it, you're able to say, okay, I have a choice here. And then bringing tools in and helping yourself shift it.
Exactly. But the discomfort can be. At the beginning, it was especially uncomfortable. Remember when I asked you, should this hurt? And you were sort of like, I don't think it should hurt. But I think that was just a way of saying, like,
You're uncomfortable.
It's really highly uncomfortable. So,
yeah.
I think that could be a barrier for people, because
I wonder if it's kind of like withdrawal in that sense. You know what I mean?
I think it is, because it's really powerful, those thoughts, the way they move, and they keep me in a loop, a cycle that is, I have to every single day and almost every single minute catch those thoughts. It's like catching with a fishing net.
It's moment to moment.
Yeah.
But again, the cool thing about it is, at least what I've noticed, is that once you really cultivated it, that awareness and the observation skills, it's less effort. Like, the moment to moment noticing of thoughts is not filled with so much effort. And I don't fully know why that is, and I'm sort of like, it's not like I'm every moment going, what am I thinking now? What am I thinking now? What am I thinking now? But I think it's almost like when you get a sense of how something feels. It's almost like the same way the brain is so miraculous that it can send a message from a nerve ending in your toe, and that it just the milliseconds for your brain to register. I think you develop this way of, if you notice a contraction in your body or something that doesn't feel good, it's like, it's such a quick, like, oh, what was that thought? Or what just happened? You kind of set up a new habit of filtering, of discerning what feels uplifting, what feels nourishing, and what feels depleting or, not life-affirming. So that if something is in the realm of not life-affirming or depleting or detrimental, it brings it to your consciousness. Like, or I wonder, this is interesting. I wonder if you're able to sort of then set these buoys down below the surface, even. because again, what I'm trying to suss out right now is that I'm not like actively thinking about what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my awareness isn't like this thing that's on. It almost it becomes its own autopilot.
It does.
That level of awareness.
It does.
So that there's this constant stream moving through this net of awareness that I don't. And it sounds so weird to say that I don't have to have awareness of my awareness.
Well, I think what you're really saying is that like we were talking before we started recording, is that awareness, what did I say? Awareness creates awareness.
Well, I was saying that it perpetuates awareness.
Right.
That as you grow it propagates,
Yes.
it perpetuates, it cultivates itself.
So I feel like what
Builds on itself.
you're really saying is your awareness of your thoughts has become so large and encompassing that if we look at that analogy of where's the water line, if you're at the top of the water line, you're dipping your toe in, that's your awareness. If you've gone down and then
Lower the water level.
yeah, or it's just a little puddle maybe that's left, all of that awareness that's up, say it was a big basin and you're just down in this little puddle now, it's like that's all the awareness, that's what's surrounding it. So it's not that you're not aware of it, it's that your awareness is so present that when you really notice when there's little pebbles that like...
It's ubiquitous.
Right.
It's ever present.
Right.
So maybe that's what's going on.
Whereas the unconscious is what was ever present before.
There you go. I like that. I don't think it's ever a puddle. I think there's always vast depths of the unconscious.
Sure, but yeah.
Because I think our brains would explode if we were aware of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we just imagine that it's more balanced, which is impossible to measure these things. But I like that where at one point the overriding atmosphere was unconscious. That if you create an overriding sort of atmosphere or ubiquitous quality of awareness, that it is the mechanism through which all things are, working.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I mean, like using words to even talk about it, I think is...
Well, it's slippery. It's the mind. The mind in and of itself is slippery. I think that's why you run into such... what you run into when you're writing, because you are aware of the slippery nature of your mind, and so it...
And then it's different from person to person, so it's slippery at its nature, and then it's all the factors of each individual. And so you're trying to talk about this thing that is really... it's without form, and you're trying to give it some form so that people can access their own power, Boom. Nice. Hey, it's me again. So I hope you enjoyed that. I really love juicy conversations like that, so it's fun to share it. Thanks for stopping by, and take care till next time.